I'm going to go through some lever adjustment here. So if your fingers are a little short or you're in a position like in the drop bars, you have a hard time reaching your lever, we're going to bring that lever blade, brake lever, physically closer to you or closer to the bar. And doing this, you may have to readjust your brakes. It will bring the pads closer, which will mean you have a shorter distance, so you can readjust it once it's there. You can loosen up your cable. Your lever is going to stay in place wherever you want it. Then we just got to readjust your cable if needed in some cases, if it feels too tight for you. So this model here, this is a Shimano, it's a 105. Location can change. Location for your adjusting brake lever could be on the top, could be on the side, could be in the bottom, could be on the inside. If you want to look for a part number and you had to Google this or whatnot, usually on the side, once you peel your hood back, this side or this side, typically this side you're going to see Shimano and then some part numbers. So it's going to be somewhere right in here. It could be underneath your bar tape, so you may have to peel some back and you can read in there. So this is a Shimano 5800 series. So for this guy, adjustment's going to be right underneath this hood here. It's going to be on the top. You can peel this top back. And we're going to have a hole directly straight down. So at the top here, we got this hole here. Down deep in there, it's going to be a 2mm little bolt. So we're going to use a 2mm hex tool. So that just drops right in there and matches up. If we're unsure which way to go, we're just going to start turning a direction and we'll keep track. So I want this lever to come inward. I'm going to go and start going clockwise, tightening, and we're going to watch this, see what direction it goes. So that bolt's pretty tight right there. I'm just using fingertips on this tool. That got tight really fast, so it could be in all the way. I'm going to go ahead and back out counterclockwise. And it looks like it's moving outward, so it's moving that direction away from the bar. So this is going to be for someone with longer fingers. So counterclockwise actually shoots it out. And as soon as you see it stop turning your tool, because you have potential to maybe loosen that screw and have it pop out of your shifter altogether. So just keep an eye on it. Just do quarter turn, half turn at a time. So I want this to come back in closer to my thumb. And I'm going to run this in all the way. So right there, that's all the way. I felt it get tight. Again, gentle pressure, you don't want to over tighten anything. But also when I go to squeeze this, I got that's a fair amount of movement right there. This is for the rear brake, so you want to definitely give your rear wheel a spin. So being that we just tightened it, brought the lever in, or it was there to begin with, I got good movement here. We're not getting too close to the bar. You have first point of contact, then I have plenty of room to squeeze harder without hitting the bar, and I can still get more power to the brake. Making sure that the brake is not too tight, spin your wheel, spinning freely, so it's letting me know that my brake pads are not too close and dragging on the wheel. If it was dragging, the wheel would stop very quickly. You'd hear the noise of scraping. So overall, that's pretty good. I'm getting a really light scrape. It's either my left or right pad, so then maybe you'd have to go in and adjust your pad caliper appropriately, or just back off on your cable tension so you're not getting that rub. You know, you do have potential, you hit a pothole or something and we get our rim slightly bent. You know, you got another 20, 30 miles to go, you're gonna have that rub there. Either you know how to adjust your brake caliper to open it up a little bit, that'd be the easiest with your quick release, or you're letting some cable out, you need your tool for that. Of course, if you do it too much, you can lose a lot of your brake altogether. So if you're not comfortable, don't do that out on your ride. Yeah, so this one is going to be my right pad that's rubbing. So my wheel, if you look closely, get your eyeballs in there where your wheel is passing your brake pad. I got a bend in the rim, boom. Very minor. It's moving maybe 1 mil, 2 mils, pretty minimal. You could give it a true if you have that and you know how to do that, or you can just open up your brake slightly, or adjust your brake to accommodate that so we're not rubbing that over here. We can get it a little straighter. So say we get a little bit of a brake rub in there, rim is slightly bent, or brakes are just off a little bit. Quickest thing to do is use your quick release right here. This is for opening your brakes. Brakes would open, so when you're ready to drop your wheel, if you have a really wide tire, it's not going to rub and get caught on your brake. So this quick release right here, you can flip this 100% open. These road calipers, they don't open a whole bunch. They give you just a few millimeters. Generally it's enough. If it's a little tight squeeze getting in and out, you can squeeze through. But in this case, if you're just looking for a little bit of movement, you can just open this partially. Boom, there, from there to there. Spin the wheel, and we're just listening for any rubs, or get your eyes in there. Sounds much better. I don't hear that sound anymore. That would be the easiest remedy, and that typically will stay in place. The other thing to do, if you're just too close overall for both sides, pads that look pretty darn close to rubbing, we could let a little material out, or a little cable out. If you have space up here at your barrel adjuster, right now I have a little gap. I could probably have like 1 revolution, maybe 2 to go downwards. I'm going to go tightening motion. This would be clockwise. That'll drive this down. That'll release cable. That'll allow this brake caliper to open and have less chance of dragging on the sidewall of the rim. So I'm going to go ahead and 2, 3, 4. That was like about a quarter turn, quarter turn, quarter turn. It's like 1 revolution. Getting about maybe a turn and 3/4 or so. So going clockwise, screwing that. It's a big screw. This is threaded going downwards. It's opening the caliper. Brake pads are getting away from the rim. Give it another spin. I'm not getting any rub there. And this is with my quick release, brake quick release, pushed in and down all the way. And then you can go ahead and test your brake lever and feel for that movement. Make sure that your lever's not getting too close to the bar. You feel comfortable on the first point of contact. Squeeze harder, and you have plenty of room to hit the brakes harder without having your brake lever hit your handlebar. So that's pretty good. That still feels pretty good right there. Say this is down all the way and you have no available room to turn and get some release cable tension. If you feel comfortable, you can go to your cable pinch bolt, and we're going to address the cable itself. So this is typically a 5mm hex tool. So I'm going to bring my fingers in and I'm going to pinch. I'm going to have this thumb. This finger is going to brace against your component, which is right about here, whether it's the lever for the quick release or the bolt. So I'm going to pinch there. I'm pinching against this finger, applying pressure. So what I'm doing is I'm locking that cable, releasing the pinch bolt about 1.5 revolutions or so. So what I can do here is I can, if I want to release some cable tension, I can feed it through and up. So what I can do is just release this finger, feed some cable through upward, and I can kind of feed millimeter at a time, do small increments. Of course, this will take maybe a little bit of practice. Cinch this up again. You want this very snug. If we had to put a number on that, it'd be about 3 to 5 Newton meters, maybe 3, 4. Nothing too tight. We don't want to crush the cable too much, but there is some devices in there that kind of creates a groove and hugs the cable rather than smash it completely against 2 flat pieces. But you want this, get it tight, and then give it a nice little extra cinch. And then you're going to test it. You can squeeze your brake lever as hard as you can, about 5 times, just to ensure that this bolt's tight enough and your cable's not going to slip through. So test that before you actually ride it. If it slips, reset it again, tighten the bolt just a little tighter. That's how we learn. So if we let through too much cable go here when we test, I'm going to do very gently here. First point of contact from pads to the sidewall rim of the wheel. That's my first point of contact. That's coming in quite a bit. I'd say that's more than halfway. It's more than 50%. 50 might be there. It's coming in further. Boom. So that means I have another 25% to squeeze harder if I need to in an emergency. And if I squeeze hard as I can, I will touch the bar. And if you need to squeeze even any further, you're going to be in trouble because you're already hitting your bar here. But hopefully, it all depends on your brakes, how sensitive they are. You might be able to skid here, no problem. Or you might have to squeeze all the way to get that tire to lock up and skid. Not that you want to skid. As soon as you skid, you are somewhat losing traction, but you are still creating resistance with the road. We always want to be controlled when you brake. Try and keep your weight over that rear wheel as well. That's going to keep that rear wheel from actually skidding and braking free, rather than shifting your weight forward, unweighting the rear wheel. Then it's like an empty pickup bed. It's going to be more inclined to bounce around and maybe lock up the brakes.